On May 23rd of 2023, Neuralink shared a very groundbreaking tweet. We are excited to share that we have received the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's approval to launch our first in-human clinical study. Elon Musk's brain-machine interface company is developing a chip that is basically the Fitbit for the brain, which will be implanted inside the skull.
We're confident that it is possible to restore full body functionality.
Through Musk's confidence, he even claimed that
Device, like I could have a Neuralink device implanted right now, and you wouldn't even know. One of these demos I will.
Indeed, on at least 4 occasions since 2019, Musk has said his medical device company would begin human trials for brain implants to treat severe conditions such as paralysis and blindness. So how unique is Neuralink's technology then? And why is Musk pushing for it to get developed? Let's find out in today's episode of Tesla Car World. Welcome back to the channel. Before we begin, please show your support by subscribing if you haven't already and ringing the bell so you won't miss out on any of our interesting videos in the future. Now, let's get started with today's content. What does FDA approval mean for the Neuralink project? The U.S. Food and Drug Administration had announced that the FDA acknowledges and understands that Neuralink has announced that its investigational device exemption for its implant R1 robot was approved by the FDA and that it may now begin conducting human clinical trials for its device. Approval from the FDA marks a milestone for the Neuralink company, which has been developing a device to be surgically inserted into the human brain by a robot capable of decoding brain activity and linking it to computers. In addition to the announcement from Neuralink, Musk also retweeted the post congratulating his team on an important first step that will one day allow our technology to help many people. He hopes to use electronic microchips to treat conditions such as paralysis and blindness, and to help certain disabled people use computers and mobile technology like a cyberpunk-esque sci-fi world. Already, companies like BlackRock Neurotech and Synchron have implanted devices in people for clinical trials, and at least 42 people globally have had brain-computer implants. Such devices have enabled feats that once belonged to the realm of science fiction. While most companies seeking to commercialize brain implants are focused on those with medical needs, Neuralink has even bigger ambitions. They aim to create a device that not only restores human function, but enhances it. Neuralink tweeted, "We want to surpass able-bodied human performance with our technology." Additionally, Musk has also previously suggested that this proposed technology would help ease concerns about humans being displaced by AI. But how much does Neuralink implants cost?
At first, I think it's going to be, quite expensive, but that price will very rapidly drop. And I think over time, we want to get the cost obviously down as low as possible. But I think inclusive of the automated surgery, I think we want to get the price down to a few $1,000s. Well, I think it should be possible to get it similar to LASIK.
And similar percentages of the overall cost would be the same, such as the cost of a surgeon's labor and materials hover around a quarter of the cost. Then the 75% remainder gets split between the laser plus other tech equipment, which could be divided between 25% and about 40% for pre-operation fees and follow-up. Overall, the cost ends up being about $2,000 to $3,000 for most people. Although the numbers have been up and down in the United States over the past couple of decades, we've seen some forecasts saying the surgery is expected to become much more common globally over the next decade. One source estimated that the growth could be up to 5 billion surgeries by 2030. Which brings me to the next topic: how feasible is this technology then? The implementation of electronic chips into the human brain sounds gruesome, but it is extremely effective at best. During the first stage, Neuralink had already demonstrated an 88% success rate in animal testing, mainly with macaque monkeys. The next step, which is through human clinical trials, should yield a higher result. In fact, huge progress has been made in this field in Europe as well. Thanks to the work of a team of researchers in France and Switzerland, a Dutch man who was paralyzed from the waist down has regained the ability to walk using only his thoughts thanks to new technology that restored communication between his brain and spinal cord. The electronic implants wirelessly transmit his thoughts to his legs and feet via a second implant on his spine. "I feel like a toddler learning to walk again," said Mr. Gertian Oscom. "It's been a long journey, but now I can stand up and have a beer with my friend. It's a pleasure that many people don't realize." He can now also stand and climb upstairs. Amazing. So how is Neuralink going to experiment on humans? These sources said that this experiment will take up to 10 patients at the most, and these people will be chosen based on their specific physical disabilities or illnesses. Neuralink has stated that their first practical application will be relatively simple. The goal is to allow a person who suffers from full body paralysis to control an electronic device like a computer or smartphone using only their thoughts. Your brain controls the rest of your body by generating specific electrical signals and then firing them out through your nerves and into your organs and muscles. Those electronic pulses are like the programming language of the human body. Your brain is sending command prompts through your spinal cord, but sometimes that connection between the brain and the body gets broken either by a physical injury or a degenerative disease. So this technology can function like a bridge for those electrical signals to bypass the broken connection. It's important to recognize that there have been already plenty of successful experiments done where patients have been able to control a computer with their thoughts, and it makes Neuralink special. It's the unique design and implementation of the technology that sets them apart from the existing. This technology can be split into two philosophies: invasive and non-invasive. First, you've probably seen a non-invasive method, which is like a weird hat with a ton of electrode sensors all over it. This can read the electrical signals in the brain, but it doesn't do a very good job to get a good connection to the brain. Second, which is where we are now with Neuralink, is taking their newest invasive BCI implant, which is something called the Utah Array. It's a square computer chip with a whole bunch of little electrode spikes coming out of it. The process is described as cutting out a chunk of the skull, inserting the Utah Array into the outer layer of the brain, and then attaching a miniature computing device directly onto the top of the head that connects to the array on one end and has a big wire coming out of the top of your head. Additionally, Neuralink also announced that instead of human doctors directly practicing this experiment, they will use a surgical robot capable of rapidly inserting many flexible probes into the brain, which may avoid the problems of tissue damage and longevity issues associated with larger and more rigid probes. This surgical robot has an insertion head with a 40-micron diameter needle made of tungsten rhenium, designed to attach to the insertion loops, inject individual probes, and penetrate the meninges and cerebral tissue. It's capable of inserting up to 6 wires equal to 192 electrodes per minute. Honestly, at the rate in which technology advances in this field, Neuralink will soon prove its concept and maximize its effectiveness, and one day replace all that bulky equipment that the patient wears on top of their head with just a Neuralink implant. And before I leave you, let me impart with you some information about the company. Neuralink Corporation is an American neurotechnology company that is developing implantable brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, which was founded in 2016 by Elon Musk and a team of 7 scientists and engineers. It has more than 400 employees and has raised at least $363 million for its investment. They've constructed a double operating room at their Fremont, California location, as well as their Austin, Texas headquarters, and the company's goal in the future has been to build their own medical clinic to treat multiple special patients. And there you have it. What are your thoughts on Musk's new development? And would you like to take part in the clinical trial? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, please leave us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to ring the bell so you can stay up to date on new Tesla Car World content. Once again, we thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again next time. Until then, take care and be safe.